Pozdrav ekipa, ja sam Nika i vrlo vjerojatno sam vam već poznata preko malih ekrana. Danas sam ovdje u ulozi voditeljice i to je jako mi drago da imam iskustva u tome i da mogu danas obaviti ovu ulogu. Danas pričam sa Adamom. Adam je također pobjednik Superstara. On je iz Slovačke i danas ćemo proći neke od najbitnijih tema u njegovom životu i ono što mi smatramo da je bitno da gledatelji znaju. Tako da pripremite se, udobno se smjestite, ovo će biti jako, jako dobro iskustvo. My first question is, how was your experience in the show Superstar? Be honest with us.
Sure. Well, it wasn't easy. To be fair, it was really challenging at some points. But I really enjoyed it because you have all the service. Everyone is there for you in a sense. They are helping you, they are making you beautiful. You have the vocal coach, you have people around you that want you to succeed, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So definitely the hardest part were the live shows or the final stages when the pressure is really on and you have you have one moment on television, on national television, whether you're going to succeed or not. So it's definitely a journey.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my biggest experiences in life. And if I should decide whether to go again, I would definitely repeat this process because it was almost half a year for us. As it started at the end of COVID period or COVID era. The castings were also slightly spread it out. And that's why the process or the whole experience was maybe even more than half a year. So it literally takes such a long part in your life. And looking back at it, I definitely enjoyed it.
Really, thank you very much for your answer. Okay, so the second question is, do you remember if there was a moment in the show when you just knew you could be the winner? Like that it was your time to shine?
Well, so talking about this with people watching the show, sometimes they would put me into a position from the first casting, like, oh, okay, he's the one that's gonna win, or oh, okay. They were some of definitely like your close circle were predicting that you will win, but it's completely different experience from inside of the show. You're definitely not seeing what they see on television. So up until the very, very last finals, which was 4 of us, it might sound like a cliche, but I truly didn't think that I will win. I felt like maybe I'm too extravagant for
Why? Your performance were amazing. I saw them.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Looking back at them, I'm very happy about them as well. But again, the experience in the show, while you're there, while everything is happening, everything is super fast. You see, everyone is talented, everyone is great. Up until the very 3 songs that we sang, which was Arcade, I remember. One Slovak song, Alaska, or in translation, Love. And then my final song, Skin. I wasn't sure. You can never be sure about that.
Yeah. Okay. The third question. What did winning the show got you? Or how your life changed since then? We can talk in different kinds.
Well, it definitely gave me some sort of security and inner security or knowledge that, okay, this is what I'm doing. Now I can really just devote my life to music. And from now on, if I take the chance, I can really be just professional singer, performer and songwriter, which is currently happening, and this is my way of living right now, and I really, really appreciate that. I feel like it's a very big privilege. This is something I always wanted, this is something I was always working towards ever since I was, very little, whether it was singing or studying in London. So I'm very happy. It definitely opened a lot of doors in Czechoslovak show business. And just for people watching,
Yeah.
I always refer to Slovakia and Czech as one country, because when it comes to show business or Superstar, we always do the Czechoslovakian version. So right now, I am just working on music, just performing, and that was always the dream.
Really nice to hear that from you. Okay, so the next question is, how did you decide to participate in Superstar? Is there any person that was involved, or it was just you that decided?
So I'll give you a little backstory there. When I was 15, my vocal coach, a different one at that time, because I changed like 7 of them, my vocal coach at that time signed me up for a different competition, which wasn't Superstar, but very, very similar, when I was 15. And yeah, it was partially successful. I didn't get to finals. It was like, you know, battles or something. But it wasn't a great experience for me. I was like, okay, I was 15 years old. I didn't know much about myself, about music. So I was actually glad at the end that I didn't, you know, follow up to the finals.
Okay.
And then 11 years after, which was now, I was always like, I'm not going again to a competition like this. Like it wasn't for me, etc., etc. But I came back to Prague from London, and there was another season just before us, and I saw how the concept developed. It was just great to watch. And while I was watching, I was like, oh wow, okay, this has changed, and it's so much better after those years. And I might actually try this. I might actually, I actually want to see how is the process now when I'm older, when I have a little bit more experience. So this time I was still scouted, because they were scouting me every single year, and I was rejecting every single year. But it was my initiative to join the competition.
Okay, and how do you feel about Eurovision? Can you see yourself there?
Oh, Mika, that's definitely in planning. That's like a next step for me. I'm taking time with this, because for me it's like a presidential election, you know. You really need to devote a lot of time to this. You know, working out the campaign around it, getting the audience from other countries, because your own country cannot vote for you.
Yeah.
So slowly, it's in planning. I don't have anything certain right now. I'm not sure if it's gonna be next year. I'm not sure if it's gonna be in 2 years' time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's gonna be at some point.
Your will is the most important.
Yes, yes. I would love that. I would love to be part of that, and I think it's a great platform for an artist nowadays. I know Croatia is always part of Eurovision, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Slovakia is not actually, but Czech Republic is. So luckily,
so you can,
these 2 options here, yes. But who knows? Maybe even Slovakia will join again. So I think it's a great platform for artists, and they can really kickstart their careers on a Europe level, which is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so my next question is, do you have any advice for people that are entering the show or are in doubt if they should go or not?
Well, definitely think it through. Definitely take your time, as I did, because I literally waited 11 years after my first experience.
And you declined the call like a couple of times, as I heard.
I declined, I think 4 times. I declined 4 times.
Okay.
So definitely take your time, you know, understanding why you're going to the competition, what you're gonna do after, what's the purpose of it. Don't go just because, don't go without plan. I mean, you know, even if the plan is that you want, you know, 100 people listening afterwards to your music, you don't have to win, but you will always get some sort of audience, some sort of new listeners to your music. So even if it's like 100 people, that's a great plan. That was actually my plan. I was like, even if I get 1,000 or 100 out of this, who will actually listen to my music afterwards, I'm happy. So, you know, gain some experience, at least a little bit. I think sometimes it might be the misconception about Superstar, I think, sometimes, is that it needs to be, you know, a mature, and we will make the start of it. I don't perceive this concept in the world. If you look to Poland, if you look to America, if you look to Germany, or other countries around us, I feel like it's called pop idol. So you should be definition of personality, great singer.
Yeah.
You should definitely have the looks for show business, which is, you know, can be on a scale right now. But you should definitely understand yourself and what you're bringing as a pop idol or someone who's going to inspire maybe other generations. So once you you know, figure out all this, go for it. It's a great platform, great chance.
Okay, really good advices. My next question is, where did you come up with your cool artist name Adonix, if I'm right pronouncing it?
No,
and what's the meaning behind it?
It's just Adonis. It's just Adonis. It's spelled like the Greek mythology one. Do you want to repeat the question?
My last part was, what's the meaning behind the name Adonix?
Great. So it came up back in London while I was working on my bachelor thesis. As I was working around a concept that was inspired by Greek mythology, I ended up with the stage name at that time, Adonis. I didn't use it because I had my band and because I didn't really have a platform to use it. However, the meaning behind it, or why you see the X there, maybe, is that maybe you heard of Adonis syndrome, which is the way of toxic thinking that your body or the male body doesn't match the masculinity standard. So I've never considered myself maybe confident enough in my body, and that's why I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna create this character, this persona on stage, like Beyonce, Sasha Fierce, you know.
Yeah.
That's gonna have that confidence. That's gonna like stand up on the stage. They're gonna, you know, embody this confidence and just deliver. And that really helped me at the early stages in London performing. Whether it were showcases or just gigs around London. Adam Pavlovchin stayed in the backstage, and Adonis was on stage. So this is where is it coming from? But later on, I had to make it different, because obviously, if you search Adonis with E or with Y, you will find out lots of other things, but not music. So with my label, current label, we decided to go for X instead of the Y or E.
Okay.
And for me, it's meaning of a neutral symbol that you can exchange with anything. So you can find your own Adonis, your own confidence, or this confident personality in anything you do, pretty much. So it doesn't have to be just on stage. So you can be your own Adonis that is strong, confident, and powerful. Because this is probably the first association when you hear Adonis, you're like, oh, is this guy a narcissist or something?
No, I just didn't know how to pronounce it. That's it.
So this is the actual meaning behind it, and yeah, we're working with that brand ever since.
Okay, so you were the first one to say something about London. It was my originally planned first, but my next question is, so you moved to London when you were very young, and you were in a band called Pace, if I'm correct. What was the experience beside it? What do you remember the most from the period of that part of your life and music career?
Yeah, I really wanted to study music. And I really wanted to experience, you know, as we call it, Mecca of pop music, which is London.
Yeah.
So I moved there and I started to study songwriting and vocal performance. And I probably remember when they accepted me for the school, I was really happy that I can actually go and study there. So that was like the first impulse. And then I remember the first year was a little bit of struggle adapting to a different culture, adapting to a different climate. You're in a big city alone, and it's an expensive place. So
tell me.
you have to have like 3 jobs and still study to survive. So I remember just running around from one job to another and then to school. And the first year was really, really hard, and I was questioning whether I'm gonna stay or whether I'm gonna come back home. I'm happy that I pushed through and that I stayed, because you know, later years, like the 3rd or 4th year, it was all coming back. Suddenly, all the investment was coming back, whether it were the shows that we suddenly were able to play with my band, or even the school were helping us to book festivals like Boardmasters, Great Escape, 2000 Trees, Brighton Pride. So these were big festivals, and a big experience for me as an upcoming artist, just to be part of. Even if you play on a small stage, it doesn't matter, no one knows that at that time, but you still play at the festival that is with Jessie J or Grace Jones, etc. So that was probably the biggest intake that I got from London.
Okay, so I see that you're very humble, but you're not just humble. I've heard that you're a model, dancer, songwriter, everything in every category. And what is your biggest passion then? Tell me. Or do you love every aspect of your work equally?
I do definitely, because they are all, you know, connecting at some point or on stage. I used to do modeling when I was younger, when I was like 16, 17, up until like, you know, my 20s. So that was never really like the main thing. That was always just, you know, on a side. And I was dancing a lot. Yes, that's correct. But I felt like I want to choose one thing and devote myself to it properly. And that was the moment moving to London and purely doing just music and singing and songwriting, while still maybe taking some dance classes, because I was thinking, okay, eventually I might actually use this for my performance and on stage, or singing Dua Lipa on Superstar, etc. So I feel like it's one package, all these industries that you mentioned. And I love to combine them. So I enjoy now, to be fair, that I'm not coming from a position of just model. I'm being booked as an artist who is modeling as well. So that's way comfortable for me as well.
Great. Okay, so one of my basic questions are, who is your biggest idol in music, and who do you look up to in some kind of way?
Well, right now it has to be Harry Styles, 100.
Okay, I see it because of the earring.
Oh, okay, the pearl earring. nice. So that would be like the current one, let's say. From the songwriting point of view, I really adore Woodkid. Maybe you don't know him, he's a French artist. I love Lana Del Rey, I love Florence the Machine. I'm a big fan of Years and Years, Depeche Mode. You know, when I was growing up, my parents would always play David Bowie, Queen, Depeche Mode, Prince. So this was always in my home, in my house. So even when I was like young and growing up, I would listen to this music with my parents. So it definitely influenced me in my songwriting or my music aesthetic right now. But yeah, there's plenty. And Dua Lipa as well, I guess. I have to say her, Zara Larsson. I'm gonna stop there.
So you've said something about your family and music taste that was always in your life. Well, I've heard your sister is responsible that you fell in love with music from the early age, if I'm correct. So how big of a supporter is your family when it comes to your career and making your dreams come true?
Sure. So you mentioned my sister. She was definitely the first one to proceed arts in our family as a profession and as a full-time job. So that was definitely an inspiration for me, because we are 6 years apart. She's 6 years older, and she moved to Prague when she was 15. She went to Conservatoria and Conservatory. And she would pretty much her profession now is actress. She also sings, but not always original songs. So
Yeah.
her main thing is acting at the moment. But again, she was, you know, doing this package like dancing, modeling, singing, and acting from very young age. So I was definitely looking up to her, and I was definitely seeing her journey and knowing that, okay, this is possible and you can actually make a living of art, because it's not always certain, and especially in our educational system, I feel like music or arts are, you know, understood differently. They are sometimes understood as a hobby, not as a profession, which is a shame. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I also studied in London, because the mindset there was slightly different, and in education. And my family was always very supportive. My mom, although she never did art in the past, I feel like she was always a creative soul, and she would always draw, she would always sing, and yeah, she was definitely very supportive, which is again a big privilege to have this support at home.
Okay, so my next question is, you also released your first album last year, and how would you describe it to someone who has never listened to it yet?
Well, the album is called Age of Adonis, so the era of my music in here. I think it's a mixture. I feel like from also talking with reviewers or with listeners, people very often refer to kind of Sam Smith approach on vocals, which is you know, very ballady, very intimate, very romantic. So I think this element is definitely there. I feel like my songwriting is very tragic romantic at some point. So you will definitely get these ballads, but you will also get like, you know, Dua Lipa dance songs. You will also get this slightly more experimental Depeche Mode sound. So these are also the influences I mentioned before. I feel like you can definitely tell that they influenced me, and it's a whole journey. You go through lots of emotions while listening to the album. The album is not that long, the album is just half an hour, 10 songs. So I tried to really build it the way that you are not bored, that you are not listening to 3 ballads in a row, but it actually takes you for a journey and for emotional journey as well.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. And you said something about emotions and opportunities. Well, my next question is related to it. I have a little this or that for you. So, like, is it London or Prague for you, or both? And which city has more to give when it comes to music and arts, for you at least?
Well, so it's definitely both. I feel like Prague is more comfortable and feels more like home. And London is definitely filled with more opportunities, for sure, when it comes to music. So I am traveling between the cities. But I know that I'm gonna stay based in Prague. I will make my living here, but it's nice to always travel and be inspired and, you know, be in the city for a while.
Okay, so like London is your little getaway from everything. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so Adam, we're at the last question. You were really good. Okay, so my last question is, what do you do when you don't sing or write songs? How do you love to spend your free time?
Well, I'm taking a cooking course this time.
Oh, when do you have time?
Because I'm a terrible cook. I'm a terrible cook, and I hated it that I wasn't able to actually.
Oh,
make
so it's like,
you know,
so it's like a little bit of an ego thing. I'm not good at it, so I have to take lessons for it.
Maybe, but I also want to, you know, I love Italian cuisine. I love it. It's definitely my favorite. And I was like, I actually want to know, you know, to make something for myself. So this is very recent thing, and it's, you know, just a hobby kind of thing. That, I don't know, I tried to travel this year because last year it was very tight on schedule. I actually didn't manage to go almost anywhere.
Sorry for interrupting, but did you ever went to Croatia?
Of course. I mean, you know, Croatia is I've been there like 10 times.
Oh, okay.
It's a Slovakian sea. Like, honestly, when I was young, that was our summer destination. And I have I have a couple Croatian friends in Prague as well.
Okay.
Actually, you wouldn't believe, but this earring, my rings and the necklace is from Croatian jeweler.
Really?
He has the shop in here, and I think the tradition comes from the country because his father established it in there. So I am very much linked with our
Okay. Yeah, because before the interview you like understand most of the things that I've said, and I get it is because of the Slavic language, but it was my thing that ask you if you were ever in Croatia, or if you catch up with the language.
Yes. Actually, I've been even shooting a campaign there last year, so so I've been there a couple times.
Okay, well, we've come to an end, Adam. If you have something to say for the end, I will let you go freely.
I'm not sure. I think I said everything. Thank you very much for taking an interview with me and being actually interested in my experience. I hope some of my suggestions will help your competitors, and I'm very excited for the new seasons always. Like, you don't know who comes, what's gonna happen. So I think it's very exciting for us as always. And now, because we're talking about it, I might be checking out, how the competition progresses on YouTube or somewhere if there is. Or I will definitely at least watch finals and be like, oh, this is the winner of the season we were talking about.
Okay, Adam, very much thank you for your time, and I'm really appreciated that you come to us for the interview. Thank you, and it was really nice knowing you. And we will see in the final of Superstar, on the screen at least.
Okay, I will definitely watch it. Okay.
Okay, so have a good time.
You too, thank you very much.
Bye, goodbye.
Bye.
Eto, čuli ste što Adam ima za reći. Adame, hvala ti još jednom što si prihvatio naš poziv. A ako i vi želite možda osvojiti 50.000 eura ili jednostavno znate da imate dar za pjevanje i da se možete osloboditi na pozornici, na linku u opisu profila vas čeka sve gdje se možete prijaviti i popuniti podatke. Ja vam želim od srca sreću i neka najbolji pobjedi.